Michael B. Jordan, he clarifies. "What's this about, officer?" "You're under arrest," O'Malley says, pulling out handcuffs. "Put the ball down and turn around." The crowd erupts. "What's this nonsense?" one player shouts. "That's Michael, the movie guy," another adds. Auntie May stands up from her bench, her bag falling to the ground. "Are you blind? That's our Michael." Her voice cuts through the air. O'Malley ignores them. He nods to the younger officer, who pulls out a tablet and checks something. "Hands behind your back," O'Malley repeats, stepping closer to Michael. Michael sets the ball down, his movements slow and deliberate. He raises his hands, palms open, but his eyes lock onto the officer. "Officer O'Malley," he says, reading the badge, "I have a right to know why I'm being arrested." "State the reason." O'Malley snorts, but a flicker of uncertainty crosses his face. "Drug trafficking," he says finally. "We have a warrant." The crowd explodes again. "Drugs? You've got to be kidding." Auntie May shouts, her hands shaking with outrage. Someone pulls out a phone to record, others whisper. It's a setup. Michael glances at the crowd, his eyes finding Auntie May. He gives a subtle nod, as if to calm her. "This is a mistake," he says, turning back to O'Malley. "But I'll go with you. Just don't make a circus in front of my people." O'Malley frowns, but nods. Michael is led to the car. The door slams shut, and the vehicle speeds off, leaving behind a cloud of dust and the crowd's angry shouts. The police precinct smells of stale coffee, disinfectant, and old paper. Michael sits in a cramped interrogation room, his hands free but the door locked. Across from him is Detective Thompson, a man in his 50s with tired eyes and a rumpled suit. He flips through a folder, his fingers leaving smudges on the pages. "So, Michael B. Jordan," Thompson begins, not looking up. "Hollywood star, big shot, and now, they say, a drug dealer. Quite a plot twist, huh?" Michael leans back in his chair. His face is calm, but his eyes burn with a cold fire. "It's not a plot, detective. It's someone's bad script," he replies. "I don't deal drugs. You can test my blood, check my finances, anything." Thompson raises an eyebrow. "We have a witness. Says they saw you hand off a baggie near the court. And another piece of evidence. Powder found in your car." Michael freezes. His car? He always locks it. And today it was parked 3 blocks from the court in a friend's garage. His mind races. This isn't a mistake. It's a trap. But who? And why? "You searched my car?" His voice is steady, but there's an edge to it. "Show me the warrant, and I want to know who this witness is." Thompson sighs, closing the folder. "The warrant's legit. The witness is confidential. That won't help you." Michael smiles, but there's no warmth in it. "Detective, I'm not just an actor. I studied law in college before I went into film. I know how the system works, and I know when I'm being framed." Thompson snorts, but a hint of respect flickers in his eyes. "A lawyer, huh? Well, this'll be fun in court." Meanwhile, in Fort Greene, rumors spread like wildfire. Auntie May, sitting on her bench, recounts to neighbors how the police took Michael. Her voice trembles with anger. "That's our Michael. He comes back every year, plays with our kids, helps the community. What kind of criminal is he?" Next to her stands Frank, a 62-year-old veteran who comes to the court every evening with a thermos of coffee. He shakes his head. "This ain't random. Michael backed protests against developers trying to buy up our neighborhood. He stepped on someone's toes." The crowd buzzes. Someone suggests marching to the precinct. Others post videos online. The hashtag Free Michael B. Jordan is already trending. The atmosphere is tense, but there's a strength in it, a community ready to fight for one of their own. The next day, Michael is brought to the courtroom. He's in a simple blue shirt, his face calm but his eyes scanning everything. The judge, an elderly woman with a stern expression, flips through documents. The prosecutor, a young man with overconfident swagger, lays out the charges: drug trafficking, possession of illegal substances, disturbing the peace. Each count lands like a hammer. Michael listens without interrupting. When the prosecutor finishes, the judge turns to him. "Mr. Jordan, do you have counsel?" Michael stands. His voice is clear and firm, like a bell. "I'll be representing myself." "Your Honor." Whispers ripple through the room. The judge raises an eyebrow, but nods. "Very well. Proceed." Michael steps forward. He knows this isn't just a trial, it's a chessboard, and he's already planning several moves ahead. But can he convince everyone of the truth? Can he unravel the web of lies tightening around him? Michael B. Jordan, the world-famous actor, stands before the judge. He's in a simple blue shirt, sleeves rolled up, his posture radiating confidence. His face is calm, almost serene, but his eyes are sharp as a blade, taking in every detail of the room. He's not just a Hollywood star. He's a man who spent 2 years in law school before film took over his life. Today, that knowledge is his shield and sword. Judge Edna Crosby, an elderly woman with a stern face and gray hair pulled into a tight bun, flips through documents. Her glasses slip down her nose, but her gaze remains piercing. The prosecutor, Eric Lawson, young and ambitious, in an overly pressed suit, stands at his table, holding a file of evidence. He looks like he's already picturing headlines about convicting a celebrity. "Mr. Jordan," Judge Crosby begins, her voice dry as a snapping twig, "you've stated you'll represent yourself. That is your right, but I warn you, the charges are serious. Are you ready to proceed?" Michael nods, his voice clear and firm. "Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready." Lawson smirks, like a predator spotting prey. "Your Honor, the prosecution is ready to present its case. Mr. Jordan is charged with drug trafficking, possession of illegal substances, and disturbing the peace. We have a witness, physical evidence, and an arrest report that confirm his guilt." The judge nods. "Proceed, Mr. Lawson." Lawson steps to the center of the room, holding a tablet. His voice is loud, calculated for effect. On August 8, 2025, at 7:45 p.m., police received an anonymous tip about drug trafficking at the basketball court in Fort Greene Park. A witness, whose identity is confidential for safety reasons, reported seeing Michael B. Jordan hand off a baggie with white powder to another individual. During the arrest, 50 grams of cocaine were found in the defendant's car, parked 3 blocks from the court. Lawson pauses, eyeing Michael. "This isn't just a crime, Your Honor. It's a betrayal of the community that saw Mr. Jordan as a role model." Murmurs of outrage ripple through the room. Andy May snorts so loudly that the judge shoots her a warning look. Michael remains still, but his fingers tighten slightly on the table. Lawson continues, displaying photos: a baggie of white powder, Michael's parked car, the search report. Then he calls his first witness, Officer O'Malley, the same officer who arrested Michael. O'Malley, stocky with graying hair, takes the stand. His uniform is crisp, but his eyes avoid Michael. Lawson begins the questioning. "Officer O'Malley, tell us what happened on the evening of August 8th. O'Malley clears his throat, adjusting his collar. "We got a call about drug trafficking. Arrived at the court, identified Mr. Jordan based on the witness's description. He was aggressive, refused to cooperate. During the search of his car, we found a baggie of cocaine." Lawson nods, satisfied. "Thank you, officer. No further questions." The judge turns to Michael. Mr. Jordan, your cross-examination. Michael stands, his movements smooth, but charged with purpose. He approaches O'Malley, holding a copy of the arrest report. The room falls silent. Officer O'Malley, you said I was aggressive. Can you specify what I did? O'Malley shifts uncomfortably, his fingers tapping the table. You raised your voice, demanded explanations. Michael raises an eyebrow. I asked for the reason for my arrest. That's my legal right, isn't it? O'Malley nods reluctantly. Yeah, but your tone was aggressive. Michael smiles, but there's no warmth in it. So, officer, you're saying that knowing my rights and asking for the reason for my arrest is aggression? He turns to the judge. Your Honor, I'd like the record to reflect that Officer O'Malley failed to inform me of my rights during the arrest, which is a procedural violation. Lawson leaps up. Objection. This is irrelevant to the case. Judge Crosby raises a hand. Objection overruled. Continue, Mr. Jordan. Michael nods and turns back to O'Malley. You said you received a call with a description of the suspect. What was that description? O'Malley hesitates. A man, African-American, tall, in a gray t-shirt. Michael turns to the gallery, his voice growing stronger. A tall African-American man in a gray t-shirt. At a basketball court in Fort Greene. You're saying that's a unique description. Laughter ripples through the room, but Michael remains serious. Officer, how many people at the court matched that description? O'Malley flushes. I don't know. A few. A few, Michael repeats, his voice cutting through the air. So, you arrested me based on a vague description that could have applied to half the players. Isn't that a violation of reasonable suspicion? Lawson jumps up again. Objection. Mr. Jordan is not a qualified attorney. Judge Crosby removes her glasses, her gaze sharp. Mr. Lawson, Mr. Jordan has the right to defend himself. His questions are relevant. Objection overruled. Michael nods and continues, now addressing the search warrant. Officer O'Malley, the warrant for the search of my car was issued at 7:30 p.m., 15 minutes before my arrest. How did you obtain a warrant so quickly if the call came in at 7:45 p.m.? The room freezes. O'Malley opens his mouth, but finds no words. Lawson looks like he's been punched. That's a question for the detectives, O'Malley finally says. Michael turns to the judge. Your Honor, I submit that the warrant was issued in violation of procedure. The timeline suggests the search may have been conducted before the warrant was obtained, rendering the evidence inadmissible. The room buzzes. Auntie May whispers to Frank, I told you, our Michael's gonna tear him apart. Judge Crosby bangs her gavel. Order. Mr. Jordan, that's a serious allegation. Do you have evidence? Michael nods, producing a copy of the warrant. Your Honor, I request that the court review the warrant issuance log for August 8th. If my suspicions are confirmed, I'll move to suppress the evidence found in my car under the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. Lawson looks flustered. He whispers to his assistant, who frantically flips through papers. Judge Crosby regards Michael with newfound respect. Very well, Mr. Jordan. The court will consider your motion. We'll take a 1-hour recess to review the documents. During the break, the room hums like a beehive. Journalists type furiously. Activists post Michael's quotes online. Auntie May hugs Frank, her eyes shining. I told you he'd do it. Our boy's a genius. In the hallway, Lawson looks pale, talking on the phone. His confidence is crumbling. Michael, sitting at his table, reviews his notes. His face is calm, but inside, he knows this is just the beginning. Someone set him up, and they have connections. But he won't back down. not in his neighborhood, not in front of his people. When the court reconvenes, Judge Crosby announces, "We've obtained the warrant issuance log." The warrant for the search of Mr. Jordan's car was issued at 8:15 p.m. after the search began. The room erupts. Lawson grips the table, his face red. Michael stands. "Your Honor, I move to suppress the evidence found in my car as illegally obtained. Additionally, I request an investigation into possible misconduct by the police." The judge nods, her voice firm. Mr. Jordan's motion is granted. The evidence is suppressed. The prosecution must re-evaluate its case. The hearing is adjourned for 2 weeks. The room explodes in applause. Auntie May shouts, "Michael, you're our hero." Michael turns to her, his smile warm but his eyes vigilant. He knows the battle isn't over. Someone wanted to destroy him, and they won't stop. But he's ready. His mind is his weapon, and the truth is his armor. In downtown Brooklyn, at the offices of Clayton and Partners law firm, Michael sits at a desk piled high with papers. His childhood friend, attorney Darius King, helps him sort through documents. The room smells of coffee and fresh printer ink. Outside, cars honk, but Michael is focused. His blue shirt is slightly wrinkled, his eyes tired but burning with resolve. He's not just an actor who once studied law. He's a man determined not to let the system break him. "Mike, you sure you want to dig deeper?" Darius asks, adjusting his glasses. "You've already proven the evidence was bunk. The court might dismiss the case." Michael leans back in his chair, his fingers drumming on the desk. "It's not just about me, Dar. Someone framed me to shut me up. If I stop now, they'll do it to someone else. One of our kids on the court. I can't let that happen." Darius sighs but nods. He knows Michael won't back down. Over the past 2 weeks, they've uncovered that the search warrant was signed by a judge with ties to a local development company, Greystone Industries. For years, Greystone has been trying to buy upland in Fort Greene to build luxury condos. Michael publicly opposed their plans, supporting the community and helping fund legal battles. That made him a target. "We've got a lead," Darius says, pulling out a file. "The anonymous witness the prosecutor mentioned is likely a plant. I found a $5,000 payment from an account linked to Greystone to a guy named Ray Collins. That could be our man." Michael nods, his eyes narrowing. "Then we make him talk. But first, I'm taking on the prosecutor." The courtroom is packed again. This time, the tension is electric. Reporters aim their cameras. Activists hold signs reading "Truth will win." Auntie May, in her best dress, sits next to Frank, who nervously sips coffee from his thermos. Judge Crosby takes her seat, her gaze as sharp as ever. Prosecutor Lawson looks less confident than before. His suit is still pristine, but his eyes dart, and his hands tremble slightly as he flips through papers. Michael stands at his table, holding a file of evidence. His posture exudes calm, but the room senses he's ready for battle. Today, he's not just defending himself. He's going on the offensive. "Mr. Lawson," Judge Crosby begins, after the suppression of the car search evidence. "What new evidence can?" "Sanyo." Lawson stands, his voice less confident than before. "Your Honor, the prosecution relies on the testimony of a confidential informant who saw Mr. Jordan handing off drugs at the court. We also have new photographs confirming his presence at the crime scene." Michael raises a hand. "Your Honor, I'd like to make a statement before we proceed." The judge nods. "Speak, Mr. Jordan." Michael steps to the center of the room, his voice clear and firm. "Your Honor, this case is not a random mistake. It's a deliberate attempt to discredit me because of my community activism. I have evidence linking the prosecution to Greystone Industries, a company with a financial interest in silencing those who oppose their projects in Fort Greene. The room erupts in whispers. Lawson leaps up. Objection! These are baseless accusations. Judge Crosby bangs her gavel. Mr. Jordan, that's a serious claim. Do you have evidence? Michael nods, handing a file to the judge. Your Honor, this documents financial transactions between Greystone Industries and an individual named Ray Collins, whom I believe is the so-called confidential witness. There's also evidence of correspondence between a Greystone representative and the district attorney's office discussing my case. Lawson looks like he's been struck. He tries to speak, but his voice falters. This is fabricated. Your Honor, this is outrageous. Judge Crosby flips through the documents, her face growing sterner. She turns to Lawson. Mr. Lawson, were you aware of these connections? Lawson stammers. No, Your Honor. I don't. Michael steps forward, his voice rising. Your Honor, I request the dismissal of all charges and an investigation into corruption in the prosecutor's office and police department. This case isn't about drugs. It's about the system trying to destroy those who stand up for their community. The room erupts in applause. Auntie May stands, her voice cutting through. Tell him, Mike. Show who we are. Judge Crosby bangs her gavel, but her eyes gleam with respect. Order. Mr. Jordan, your motion will be considered. I'm ordering an investigation into the evidence you've provided. The charges are dismissed pending the investigation's outcome. Lawson collapses into his chair, his face pale. Michael turns to the gallery, his gaze finding Auntie May and Frank. He gives a subtle smile, but his eyes are wary. He's won this battle, but the war isn't over. That evening, the Fort Greene court glows. Someone brought string lights. Another played music. Kids run around with a ball, and older residents sit on benches, laughing and sharing stories. Michael stands by the hoop, holding a basketball. His t-shirt is damp with sweat, but his face is calm. Auntie May approaches, her eyes shining. You did it, Mike. You showed, and we don't back down. Michael smiles, tossing the ball through the hoop. It swishes, and the crowd cheers. It wasn't just me, Auntie. It was all of us. Frank, holding his thermos, adds, But you started it, kid, and maybe this changes something. Michael looks at the court, at the kids laughing, the neighbors hugging. He knows Greystone won't give up. He knows the system won't change overnight. But today, he gave his community hope. And maybe, just maybe, it's the first step. Stars begin to twinkle over Brooklyn. Michael tosses the ball again, and it swishes through the hoop. The game goes on.